was cheer and donate to support the channel as well. All of it helps us to continue running content, being here, and it allows me to continue doing this as my full-time job, my kabang, and just continue to just StarCraft my life up, basically. As we do have to the top right-hand side, our red Zerg player from Team Liquid. This is Snute. He's going up against the purple Protoss player to the bottom left-hand side of the map. It is my friends Jieshi. Wardy, do you think Zest can do it against Maru this Saturday? Nope. I really want to believe in Zest, but honestly I think Maru is just way too good right now. If Maru can just manhandle Classic into the fight and get into the finals, I think he can manhandle Zest in the finals. So, yeah, let's get into this though, guys. It's a ZvP Grand Finals. Jieshi, what a run to take down Bly and Namshar on the way through to this final. Obviously qualifies himself for the main event, as does Snute, which is awesome to see. As we set ourselves up and just get a roll, as we're going to see the spawning pool is dropping down here just to the top side. And yeah, we are getting ourselves into this. There's a couple of drones going to start up as well. Another gateway dropping down here from Jieshi. Let's get this underway. Nexus is coming down from Jieshi too, so he's just going to get this set up for the moment. A drone from Snute comes over and we'll throw down a hatchery in a moment or so. So hatchery coming down, third base already. I mean, hatch pool hatch, something we saw Snute doing in one of the earlier ZvPs that he played. I believe that was against Goblin, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, it's just a map you can get away with it on. The third hatch coming up quickly. You don't have to worry so much about dealing with, you know, nuisances on the third hatchery as much, because it's very easy to hold free bases. So for now, Snute is looking absolutely fine and dandy, as we do see this probe of Jieshi going to head across towards the upper right-hand side to have a little bit of a look to see just what is up for himself at the moment. So probe going to approach the front and is going to hop on in towards the main in a couple of moments' time and see what's going on. Probe from Jieshi is going to come in towards the natural and just nibble away at some minerals. Get out of here, you little dirty probe, stealing 5 minerals from our friend the Zerg. How dare you? How dare you? As we do see the Stargate on the way up from Jieshi now in the main base. So Stargate on the way. And as the Stargate comes out, we will see another probe just being produced right now as well. A couple of probes going to be chrono boosting their way in towards this mineral line. Man, I'm so hyped that Jieshi qualified though, by the way. You know, when I looked at today's bracket, I was like, oh cool, we're going to have 2 Zerg players. I'm like, man, I'm not going to be able to invite any Zergs. How sad. And then it's like, wait a second, what? Jieshi? Jieshi? What a god. A couple of adepts here are, sorry, the adept is going to get pushed away by a couple of queens, and Shade will continue forwards, but will not commit, and not much to see anyways at this sort of stage, as we do see those feelings just sat around in the main. A couple of queens is pushing some group spread forward still. This Oracle on the way out from Jieshi right now in the main base as well, so that's still coming up, but also here, Snute does have this Overlord approaching into the main, so he's going to get a full scout. He knows now that there's definitely some Stargate play underway. You can see the first Oracle on the way, and actually these adepts do commit into the main base. So Jieshi going to go for just a few Zergling kills here, work his way towards the mineral line. At some point here, he might try and target down drones instead, but the Lings are going to block him from getting in range. He'll get one, and he will just get one as both adepts do fall. Still cleaned up some Zerglings, so not the end of the world. As you will see this Oracle heading towards the upper right-hand side. Going to be trying to get a few drone kills of its own. Into the Phoenix behind it to start shutting down those overlords, which are just kind of hanging around in the space at the moment. As we do see the couple of drones, well, one goes down, the second goes down, and that Oracle pushed away with actually quite a bit of damage being dealt already. And there is that overlord that's going to be picked away at in a moment or two by a Phoenix. The Phoenix is melting into the Nexus there, didn't quite see it. But yeah, the overlord starting to go down. It's a very typical robot facility, and Twilight Council follow-up is already underway. Very fast Twilight Council though. Fast Twilight Council to the point where I almost wonder if this is going to be like something other than the Templar Archives in charge. Like, it just seems very quick rather than like Robo then Twilight, or them both being at the same time. He's just going to start Chrono Boost in charge, and I wonder if he just goes into a lot of gateways as a kind of a follow-up to this opening now, and just tries to go all in with this at this sort of stage. Maybe in, you know, he's got 5 gates in total at the moment, if you count the one that's finished and the 4 on the way. I wonder if he goes into a couple more, but it looks like he's going to expand, so maybe not. Maybe just the Twilight Council started to build and the Robo was just slightly delayed for whatever reason. And so we'll have that pylon dropping down just to the side of this gas. Phoenix from Jieshi starting to nibble its way through an Overlord, so some damage will begin to be dealt for now. Overlord will be dropping in a moment or so. So Overlord goes down here. We do see charge again on the way up, about halfway done with the Prism coming through. Means that we're going to start seeing some aggression very shortly. The first Archons, of course, will be on the way soon. But Snute's also getting prepared. His 11 Roaches are on the way out. Looks as though he dealt with a Stasis Ward very effectively in the back of this mineral line. Did he actually kill the Oracle? No, not just yet. The Oracle's just missing from my point of view. There it is. It's actually there to defend the new Nexus, which is currently being positioned down on the low ground. So Oracle is out here ready to defend, ready to deal with a couple of Lings if they try and run by and force a cancel. There's a Bane in this from Snute as well. He's really going to go into a very aggressive setup here. Roachling Bane. Well, let's see how this goes. A couple Archons on the way through. Good amount of Roaches already. I'm kind of very confident for Snute in terms of defending against this. Coming in towards the upper right hand side and going to be seeing what he can do. So many Roaches, but I love this Evo Chamber wall, and this is something you can only really do on 16-bit because every other map would have much more of an access point in towards the third base. Or, you know, the Pros just rotates around and attacks somewhere else, but that doesn't happen on 16-bit because there's only one entry into all three bases. As you are going to be seeing, this couple of Archons going to be dropping. We will see this Queen going to be some damage done, so a couple of Queens go down. We're going to be seeing, ooh, the Warp Prism's low. Oh, Jieshi just doesn't quite get the Prism out of there, and that means that both Archons go down as well. And that's a very painful moment, actually. I mean, both Archons going down, the Warp Prism going down. Not only is that units lost here from Jieshi, it's units which are now not able to, you know, come around and be part of the fights. It's units which aren't going to be able to. It's just really unfortunate that this is the way that things go. You are going to be seeing some Zerglings currently working their way through these rocks. A couple of Roaches working their way through these rocks as well. In fact, quite a lot of Roaches currently working their way through these rocks. So this is going to be the counterattack right now. With two Archons already being killed, I'm actually not quite sure what's going to happen here for Jieshi. I mean, he's adding on shield batteries. He knows he's in some trouble. Nice Stasis Ward to begin with as Snute coming across the map. His Lings are still on the way out. He's got Bane speed coming through as well, and I still kind of feel like he might just go into like some sort of like big attack with Roachling Bane, but he backs away. He adds on a few more drones, and he's going to continue on down the line. Voidray on the way up from the main base as well here at the moment. So Voidray coming through, +1 attack upgrade on the Forge as well. Also currently just on its way up, so +1 attack coming into play now. As we do see a single Zergling just coming back from Snute as well. Apparently he's done kind of watching out for the 4th base or whatever it was that he was getting up to at that moment. +1 missile attack starts up right now as well here from Snute, so he gets that underway. He gets that going for himself. Infestation Pit about to finish up from Snute as well, and as the Infestation Pit comes on through, we're going to see a couple of Zealots. They're just going to head on up here, and they are going to grab themselves the Zerglings on the Watchtower. So Jieshi actually taking some map control, really contesting this. Not going to be able to save this side, but he does save the one to the south side as he saw the Roaches approaching. Snute only about, well, it's actually very even supplies, and army supply is actually leading at the moment for Jieshi. If Snute really, I mean, Snute needs to be careful, because if he finds himself in a fight, I'm actually not sure if, you know, how much of a fight it really is that he wants to be in. 22 Zealots on the map. It is a very Zealot-heavy army, though. There's only, what, 3 Immortals, a Voidray, 4 Archons. The tech numbers aren't crazy here, and we are missing the Side Storm ability for Jieshi as well right now, as we do see these units coming over to the right-hand side. A couple of Crypt Humans here, obviously potentially in some trouble if there was an Observer, but as it stands, no Observer. I think these Banelings are maybe going to change things up. With such a Zealot-heavy composition, Banelings are going to be absolutely incredible in this scenario. There isn't Storm available, there's not really many Force Fields available right now. Will Zealots run by into this space, but that's where most of the Roaches are. He's going to try and get away with these, and just give him a chance to maybe move forward with the rest of the army, but that's where the Banelings are waiting, and so Jieshi has to be so careful right now. Has to be so cautious about what's going on here. Warp Prism loads up for the 3 Zealots and an Adept. Going to be bringing that up to the top side here. Banelings continuing to roll around. Coming back down towards the lower left-hand side, we are going to see those Zealots in a little bit of trouble. Oh my god, no, the Banelings crash into everything here, and Snute is going to take one hell of a fight. I mean, pushing on through. You see more Lings are rolling on forwards as well, going to stream on into this. They're going to go for the surrounds. They're going to kill an Archon or 2. The Voidray continues to pull backwards, and we are going to see another Archon, another Immortal dropping, another couple of Immortals going. This is just over right now, as we are going to be seeing another Immortal picked off here. That Archon goes down as well. Roaches and Ravagers continue to pick their way through the Nexus, and this looks as though it's pretty much going to be over. As the Lings, Roaches, Ravagers, Hydras gather themselves together to throw themselves at the front once again here. Jieshi is looking as though he's going to be well, feeling pretty good. Another Archon morphs in right now. High Templar still just wandering forwards a little bit. Some Ravagers taking some shots as well. Zealots are once again going at it. The cannon is holding on. And Jieshi is holding on. Those Balins were just destructive a few moments ago. And now Lurkers are going to be involved. That's obviously not going to be pretty. That's going to be one hell of a way to end this game. Snute will take the first game of the best of 3. GG. Snute takes the lead in the grand finals. Today's games and more after the stream for subscribers. So get yourself subscribed if you want these replays as well as replays from yesterday's games between Innovation, Solar, Gumiho, and Creator, as well as Kung Fu Cup replays, and so much more. So many replays coming up tonight in the replay pack. If you want to get your hands on that, be in the Discord server. Game 2, as we get ready to roll. We do just see a few drones on the way up right now from Snute, so a few drones getting going here. We're going to be seeing this gateway coming down in the natural expansion as well. And this probe just going to come along, get back into the main. Initial build order setup is underway. Do you see this gate at the moment here from Jieshi is going to be about halfway done. This Overlord from Snute continuing to move across towards the upper right hand side. Obviously looking for the initial scouting information here, looking to see just what is Jieshi up to in these very early stages of this game. Generally, he's going to end up seeing a Stargate, he's going to get killed by a Phoenix, but, you know, it just helps him to get that information. And what else are you going to do if you're early Overlord? If the players didn't send the Overlord across the map, then Stargates wouldn't be made as much, and then suddenly, you don't know what's going on. So it's kind of like an Overlord which you kind of have to sacrifice here. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. Anyways, getting into this. House Quark, sorry, in the chat says, I thought they were not great connections. Honestly, I think the connections were amazing. Like, he killed all the Zealots. It may have been hard to see, and the last few Banes went off on a couple of Mauls. We were a little bit slow to the fight on the observant side, but he killed all the Zealots as the Banes were just coming into this clumped up army. It was just, I think he just didn't see the Zealots in amongst all of the Archons and Immortals. Like, he killed like 20 Zealots with like the Banes, and obviously splashed the Immortals and Archons down too, and that's what allowed him to really just power forwards and be in such an incredible position from that point. Stargate is on the way up in the main base then, so as we were talking about, Jieshi very much so expected to build a Stargate, as are most Protoss players and PvZ openers, and the current day and age. A little bit of back and forth here of these Zerglings and that probe, in and out, back and forth, yes and no. Drone is going to dance its way over to the third hatchery, which will morph on in right now as well. So as its first adept comes forwards, we're going to see the same sort of play so far from Jieshi, looking to try and figure out what's going on, looking to try and see, okay, can I pick off a couple of drones here? Can I get some bits and pieces of information gained? As that drone goes into the natural, doesn't find too much. And we are going to be seeing this Oracle on the way out right now in the main base. So Oracle coming through in the main, we're going to see another Adept popping out. And as this Adept pops out and starts to shade in towards the main, chasing down a few of these Zerglings, we are going to see the Lings able to pick up a probe kill, and dupes away, gets into the natural, where another probe going to go down. Just 4 Zerglings with 3 kills, and 3 Zerglings still alive. He's going to go for one more to make that 4 kills. Snute, great damage done here with these early Zerglings. At the same time, Adept does find itself a couple of drones, but still now the Adepts are down, and well, 2 Adepts, 4 probes for 2 drones, 5 Lings. Still like it for Snute. There's a few more Lings coming across the map to see what's coming up next. Robo facility will start up this time. And this is what I mean, like, you know, now the Robo facility comes down first rather than Twilight Council we saw in the last game. So we'll see if this is Robo Twilight. Yeah, it is. And that's why last game I was a little bit like, huh, what's he do? You know, why is he going for such a fast Twilight Council? Because the Twilight coming down that much earlier, it is strange. It is a bit different to what you would usually maybe expect this to be. So this time the Robo and Twilight come down at the same time, and it's much more kind of as expected. You can see a couple of gateways are being added on as well, so you can continue to set up into this, as an Oracle will head on over to the right-hand side of the map. And, well, an Evo Chamber about to finish up in the back of this main base. Evolution Chamber will finish up right here. A couple of drones on the way out. The melee upgrade will start up from Snute. So again, his melee upgrade underway at the moment. Templar Archive still coming through in the main base. As that War Prism is also just on its way out here at the moment. Again, that melee upgrade is going to allow his Lingbane Hydra to be that little bit more effective. As I see for Jieshi, well, he's going up into his extra gateways once again. This time he'll add on up to 6 gates in total. His Temple Archive is about to finish, so those initial Archons will be getting ready to go in the very near future as well. The charge upgrade also coming in. And I like this. Snute already sees that War Prism. If he stays underneath the War Prism with the Zerglings, it makes it very difficult to warp in High Templar and to then morph them into Archons without them just getting straight up killed. So Snute doing this correctly so far, I suppose. Not really much else to say about it. We'll just have a couple of warp-ins. There we go. Actually, War Prism did get away from those Lings. The Archon is able to morph in here, so Ling is not able to stop the morph in. Third Nexus on the way, and that's that Oracle once again in position, ready to just stop those Zerglings from really getting into the position where they can cancel this. Okay, kill a probe, you know, maybe you kill a Pylon, but realistically, it shouldn't ever be more than that as you see Archons into the main. The first Queen taking some hits, and remember, Jieshi lost this War Prism last time around. It would be disastrous if he was to lose it again, because it just opens it up to not quite the same attack, because there's no Roach Roar in this game, but it would definitely open up the realm of possibility as to, you know, counterattacks being a lot more effective. It takes away a lot of his presence on the map, and that's the biggest thing. Not being able to be aggressive yourself is going to give the Zerg the freedom to do what they want, and that's where you really kind of, you know, start to lose your, lose your position in the game if you lose the early War Prism and Archons. Zealots warping in here. Jieshi is very committed to this attack at the moment as he comes on forwards. I mean, there's Banelings ready to go. 3 Archons, though, is definitely scary. Again, these Banelings just get such good connections. I mean, you can't let all of your Zealots go down to Banes. You need the Archons in the front to tank some of those Baneling shots, and again, that's just not what happens here. Everything cleaned out, bar the Prism and 2 of the Archons. Snute is just so happily going up into the 4th base. Just expanding up the left side because Jieshi is very much so focused on the right-hand side for his attacks. But again, it's another attack which really doesn't gain that much, and right now there's nothing on this 3rd base to actually defend because Jieshi just put all of his warp-ins aggressively across the map, and again. So right now, as Snute approaches for a counterattack, he is going to get a lot of damage done, but he's going to pull away because of this attack in the main. The warp-in here, and Snute has only got Queens and a couple Hydras. Snute's actually starting to lose some drones. Wow, maybe it would have been worth, though, to run into this mineral line, get some counter damage of your own done. Because these Lings are still on their way home, and by the time they get here, it honestly feels like there's enough Queens and Hydras to deal with it anyways. Just imagine what these Lings could have done in the meantime. I mean, this entire mineral line dies off, maybe you break through into the natural. I think a lot of probes die because there isn't any warp-ins available because Jieshi just warped in to make that attack happen. Catches Snute off guard, though, and something that Jieshi really needed here because it brings Snute down from like 75 workers to 60, 63. And it puts Snute in a position where suddenly he's almost touchable again, you know. Suddenly he doesn't have this suit of invulnerable armor on that Jieshi has just been unable to pierce. Suddenly Jieshi finds these openings and he's able to stick the dagger in where it hurts and form that Warp Prism. Well, the Archons now do come back home, though. And this time we do have, well, Immortal is up. I guess High Templars have the Storm available as well, so Yishi's bought himself the time to set up into the rest of the units here and the rest of the upgrades, which he's going to need to really be able to kind of bring him through in this game. We see some Zealots unloading, there's a couple of Zerglings going down, Warp Prism looking to do a little bit more on the map. Currently going to hunt the 4th base, it seems. Spinecrawler coming up here alongside the Spore. Should be a good initial defense, even a couple more Spines, Snute very aware. So this base is actually a bit further away than the usual 4th base would be. This 4th base down here, which is currently being the 5th, you know, that's a lot easier to get on over to a few units. But this base up here, yes, he's got good creep spread, but if that disappears, it's very difficult and it's very long to get there. So the stack defense helps him to buy the time to get in position, and that's a lot of Zealots right now. Jieshi already set to hit that base. The 4th base of his own is on the way up. And will Snute do anything about that? He has +2 melee upgrades. His Bane's morphing in. They now one-shot probes if they can find themselves a mineral line. It looks like this Lingbane Hydra army is starting to come across the map. Will it turn around to deal with this counterattack? I imagine that it would in general. He has to send something over there, right? And he's just working his way through the rocks in the center. Looks as though he wants to open up different pathways to escape through. He's going to start to get pushed back. Wants options here. Wants to give some surround potential. And in general, I mean, more pathways on the map is always going to be beneficial for Zerg players. Do you see the Observer just getting picked off by those Hydras? I think that's time for Jieshi to move forwards. He's seen this. Those Banes are actually still back at home, so they could go and deal with those Zealots maybe. 4th Spine Crawler finishes up here, but 4 Spines, I mean, it feels like it's a lot, but really, it's kind of surprising how little they'll do against these Zealots. They won't do as much as you'd like, I think, as these Hydras starting to press on forwards. First High Templars are going to have to get ready for Storm very shortly. Drones 2 coming for us around the Warp Prism is here for more Warpins. Snute is just going to commit to this position. He's just going to go for it now, leading the charge with these Banelings. Hydras are going to follow up. First Storms are good, hitting a lot of Lings, a lot of Banes. Some Banes hit the mineral line though. They actually don't go off just yet. They're still chasing more probes here. And Snute is still pressing forward with these Hydras. The Banes actually come up on the backside of the Immortals. More Banes on the right-hand side now too. I mean, even just forcing the High Templars to morph into an Archon gets rid of a couple of potential Storms. Last few Balins probably want to back away. I feel like Yishi's done well here because this top left base is now going down. Snute, he had to pull his drones back from that position. Lings are starting to clean it up, but well, he only killed 6 workers. He let a lot of these probes that were just left mining survive. I don't think Snute was really thinking that so many of these Banes would just go off on not very much at all. Apparently, he finds 12 more workers with the last few Banelings, and that's so necessary, it feels like. He needs to slow Jieshi down in some way, because right now Yishi's army looks terrifying in comparison to Snute's. 30 Zerglings and 15 Hydras. Zealots, Immortals, Archons. Okay, no Storms yet, but I guess they're on the way very soon. In fact, they're going to be ready any second now. It's looking a bit scary for Snute if Jieshi was to find a moment to attack, but I guess the creep spread is very terrifying as well. Do you really want to push into this creep? Even this bait creep, which isn't too far in front of this base, is kind of scary to step onto. And that might be one of the things which is just keeping Jieshi from really kind of committing forwards right now. A couple of extra cannons on the way out. Shield battery coming in as well. 2 more cannons coming off to the left-hand side as you see these Hydras. Well, they've chased that prism away to the far left-hand side as well now. More Zerglings coming forwards here from Snute. It's our second game of our grand final of this qualifier, guys. Again, the main event for this tournament, Friday, Monday, and Tuesday coming up. So this time next week, we'll already have been crowned. We'll be crowning the champion this time next week, actually, in the playoffs. Look forward to that. Things being some Hydras top side. As you see, the Warp Prism this time is dealt with very adequately with these Zerglings and Queens. I'm not going to let them do. Let the Prism do as much as it did last time around. Bane's going to hit the 4th base. He is actually an oversaturation of probes, so this could be deadly. Oh my god, 29 workers disappear just like that. And at the same time, there's Lings and Hydras on the 3rd base, but these are going to get pushed away. There's a good defense on this side by Jieshi. He just wasn't far enough forwards to hit the Storms on those Banelings as they ran into this space, and suddenly he's half the work account of Snute. And Snute's got to be feeling good about that. Some Lings in the natural are also just looking for more damage into the main. Grab a couple more probes and continue to make Yishi's life pretty miserable, honestly. Bane's trying to commit in. I feel as though you kind of wanted to hit the High Temple with those, but doesn't quite reach his marker. 39 probes killed in the last 30 seconds or so. It's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. Hydras do continue back down through the center. A couple of Queens over here starting to talk down a Warp Prism as some Hydras getting into work. Warp Prism does fall. Lings getting in front once again. So let's go down in the middle of the map. Lings and Hydras continue to gather themselves together. Looks as though they're going to throw themselves across the map once again in a couple of moments. +2 missile finishes. The Spire will start up as well. And here we go. Lings, Hydras. Getting ready to push up right now. Another group of Banelings going to start morphing in. So two going to start getting picked away at as well right now. We are going to be seeing Storm kind of just missing everything. Nice Storm on the second time around though. Hits the Hydras. Immortal here going to hold the front of the wall. Now Banes and Hydras going to try and push this side as well. Once more. Storm's coming down. Banelings get picked off. Templar's hitting that nicely. 7 probers in the end do go down as one Baneling is also still just around. See what he can do. Lings eventually take down the Immortal and the Natural. Wow, I don't know how that happened. One Ling in the main base as well, still just wandering around. Snute maxed out, but mostly because of his massive worker lead. Going into the Spire, I wonder what he actually adds in. I mean, I think it's just a movement towards Greater Spire, right? Surely it can't be anything else. It doesn't have a hive, so what's it going to do? Just corruptors for the mothership? Maybe. And then you can use them to caustic spray down bases. I mean, it does work. It's something that can happen. Nice bait of that storm this time by Snute. And is there one more storm? There is, and Snoot's already moving away from it. That's some really nice storm baiting after the first storm did so much against those Zerglings. Snoot pulls back, I think, yeah, more Fins and Banelings right now, 25 of them. Snoot's giving up the attack on the right-hand side, and Jieshi's starting to realize that, bringing more of his units from the right-hand side over to the left. Getting ready to try and fight this once again. Snoot, the issue is there's just so many tech units in this. You know, Immortals, Archons, Bane, Templar. So this is a full surround. No, actually, Snoot flipped around the other way. Oh wow, that actually confused me for a moment there. I didn't understand that Snute was going the other direction. I thought he had a full surround coming in. But it turns out that he was actually going to counterattack on the third base. But, well, I think now a little bit of indecision is going to cost him, and Snute loses a lot of units once more. Jieshi is starting to progress his way down to the bottom left-hand side of the map. Jieshi is starting to push forwards to see what he can do. Well, a few more Banes just on the way up right here. 40 more Zerglings, 14 more Hydralisks. Pushing through at the moment, we're going to see a couple of Lings, a couple of Queens getting picked away out. We're going to be seeing more Lings and Banes from each side starting to come on forwards. We do see another Storm dropping, doesn't quite connect just yet. Mothership picked off as well. I think Jieshi just has a little bit too much right now, and Snute just can't quite find an answer to these units, and Jieshi is going to be able to tie this grand final up. They're playing for a split of $40 and $10 first and second place, simply because of the fact that it's a qualifier and we want to put OSC bonuses on it. Obviously there's more prize money to run in the main event as we get tied up 1-1 in this best of 3. Catalyst. Let's jump into this. A couple of questions about ping right now for Jieshi. I'm pretty sure the Chinese players play with 300 to 350, maybe even 400 ping sometimes. On EU, that's what they were talking about last time they played in one of these events. We had some discussion about it. Top left-hand side, red Zerg player is Snute. And at the bottom right, our purple Protoss player is, of course, Jieshi. Alright, so getting into game number 3, our final one of the night, guys. Again, hope you've had a great day so far. Hopefully this game makes it just even better. And of course, hopefully you've been enjoying the cast as well. Don't forget to tap that follow button. See when we're live next, which actually will be in about 14.5 hours time. We go live with our Group B of the WardiTV Invitational number 4. Look forward to that tomorrow. I'll also be cast on Base Trade TV on tomorrow evening, so look forward to that as well, as we do get ourselves set up here in the early stages of Game 3. This tournament returns Thursday with qualifier number 2. I'm 50% sure it's actually 50-50 because some things come up that I might have to do on Thursday evening, so I might not be able to actually put the qualifier on, in which case we'll just give out a couple more invite slots, but we'll see what happens. Otherwise we'll have the main event of this just start on Friday. Look forward to that, Group A. Stargate on the way up here from Jieshi. A few Zerglings from Snute going to be coming around the left-hand side. Depth from Jieshi going to come up to the top right as well. He's just going to move his way towards this third base, and that is going to start up right now. So third hatchery starting. Link speed is about halfway done already. So link speed already halfway done, and the rest of these Zerglings is actually going to move their way around though. And this pylon is completely left just to be in a whole world of trouble with Snute. Only 22 drones. He's making even more Zerglings. He's going to go for this. And, you know, as this Adept pops out, I just don't think you stop this pylon from really going down here. Adept's surrounded, so now it's just down to probes. Unless these probes come in to kind of defend this, well, that's obviously problematic as well. He's going to block the wall off as well, and so these Zerglings right now of Snute are making things work wonders. First pylon down, Wolfgate is halted, and as Ling speed kicks in, more Lings are already on their way across the map. Grabs another probe, which is trying to block off the front here. Snute thinks about committing forwards once again, as there's the full wall off. The rest of these Lings about to arrive, as two of the Lings end up in the main base, not quite able to get a kill because the workers are on the gas. And these Going to start to work their way through a gateway. Oracle's already out of energy. New Oracle on the way up at least. These two pylons already losing their shields. Honestly, these pylons might go down. I'm surprised he didn't start to target the pylons initially. Have a Warlock behind this as well. Even just killing the pylons, but unpowering Warp Gate for that little bit longer keeps Snute in that advantage, and obviously just justifies, even a Chrono Boost on the Warp Gate, which is halted once again here for another few seconds, because this pylon and this one, they don't get the job done. This one will. Messy start for Jieshi. Have to see how he recovers from this here. And Snute. Well, the Lings coming around the side find themselves a way to make it work. Extra Spore Crawlers finishing up at the moment as well, so Snute continue to commit into this. Two Oracles up the right-hand side here from Jieshi. So they're going to continue up the right as well, and as they come up the right side, we'll be seeing them attempting to come forwards and to get maybe a little bit extra done. Spore Crawler takes a couple of shots of damage. You'll see one of those Oracles dropping kind of low right now. More drones on the way out. Rover Facility coming through. Twilight Council coming into the main bases as well. Phoenix going to start poking his way through this overlord as we usually expect to see. Well, for the most part, Yoshi's kind of sticking true to kind of what he's been doing before. He's already started up the charge upgrade. The Robo Facility is dropping down in the natural expansion already as well, also now. So getting that set up and ready to go as a couple of extractors continue to come into play now. One on the natural, one on the third base. We are going to be seeing this Templar Archives from Jieshi currently on the way up. Two Oracles going to be heading in towards the main, try and get some further damage dealt, but as Snute starts at +1 missiles, he's already going in towards the Hydralisk Den here, so he's already looking towards a later stage of this game. He's pushing those Oracles back quite significantly right now. So this hatchery still coming down here as well. Two Oracles still just continuing down to the south. Depth getting a couple of kills, actually gets surrounded with a probe. So pick off there, of course, and going to be seeing the Depth going down as well. There's some prison play coming up the right-hand side. Temple Archives is existing, so Archons could morph in, but is he really going to do it on creep? It's like the bait of the century, but Snute doesn't actually have the units to actually stop this from happening, so... Well, maybe he does. He's going to push forwards with the Roaches and the Queens at the moment. Queen should get on top of that prison right away. Already pushing forwards because he's on creeps. The Queen has speed as well, remember. They have that little bit of extra mobility. And get very close to getting rid of that prism, and already that was not a good start for Jieshi. It's not how things were meant to get going. Alright, fourth hatchery on the essential position now. Snute gets this set up and ready to go. Warp Prism down to the south with a couple of Archons, and we do see the Sentry is about to finish warping in as well. Another Pylon and Shield Battery finishing up too. These two Archons also going to finish up right now. And another High Templar just warping in, as we do see the Immortal on the way out from Jieshi. Two more gates in the main base. Groove Spines on the way up here from Snute, +1 missile attack upgrade about to finish. Just think with pushing that Warp Prism back so easily here, Snute has got to be feeling pretty good about his position. Let's see what he goes for. +1's about to finish up, and he's starting to move down the left side of the map. He has Groove Spine and he has Roach Speed, +1 of course as well. No Hydra Speed, so those Hydras are a little bit slow. So what he can do is he's looking for an attack towards the third base off of this 54 worker count. It's not a huge amount of drones. He's already setting up the links to reinforce across the map nice and quickly. Catches a few Roaches, maybe a couple more than Snute would like, but not a super crazy number. Corrosive Bow's going to force units forwards. Hydra's being kept safe behind the rest of these units right now as Oracle's going down. The Hydra's really dishing out a lot of damage. As Lings are reinforcing, they're going to be doing a big part of being able to just keep the Hydras safe, keep them in the back line where they can just sit and deal damage rather than being picked off by Zealots and the rest of it. Shield Battery at the front starting to go down too. There's only one Archon and two Immortals left. Make that 3 as the one extra Immortal shows up to reinforce, but maybe make that 2 once more as one of them goes down. Reinforce and Zealots are just getting picked off as they come into play. A couple of extra Zealots being added in here, and well, again, it's just a couple extra units. GG from Jieshi, and Snute will take it down in the end. Jieshi is going to be